all fell drum, drum, drum.
3 months ago, I met a man in Ghana. He was selling handmade bracelets and necklaces outside the hotel my friends and I were staying in on the outskirts of Accra. When I purchased 3 items from him, he said thank you. Thank you for supporting me. After 2 days already spent exploring Accra, I had had plenty of run-ins with street vendors, and not one of them had said thank you like that. Not one of them had considered it direct support of himself. Let me back up a bit. Hi, my name is Justin Dart, and I'm currently a marketing student at the University of Colorado, and I just returned from a semester at sea. Over the course of 105 days, my classmates and I traveled to 11 different countries. Here's one of my stories. The first time I can remember getting to know Jay was on a taxi ride up to the University of Ghana. My friends and I wanted to make a day trip, and Jay and our other local friend Richie played our tour guides for the afternoon. Somewhere along the drive, I told Jay that I'd like to buy him a beer and get to know him better. When we pulled up on a dirt parking lot near the highway, my friends and I paid the driver and proceeded to walk towards the main gate. 20 seconds later, Jay came running up behind us with something in his hand. He grabbed my own and put whatever it was into my palm. 2 crushed up CD notes. Apparently, the driver had tipped him for giving him our fare. "This is for the beer," he said. I wasn't quite sure what he meant. I'd already told him that I'd happily buy one for him, and I knew that he didn't have much. Half playfully, our friend Richie grabbed the 2 CDs from my hand and insisted that he'd hold on to them for me. But Jay was just as quick to snatch them back, and this time closing my palm over the bills when he handed them back to me. "This is for the beer." I took them, not knowing at the moment what else to do. During our visit to the campus, we visited a sociology lecture. It was in a great big building with high ceilings, and felt more like a gymnasium than a classroom. We arrived early and sat down in some of the wooden desks. When Jay asked me to take his picture in a desk, I at first thought he was joking around. Almost like a "I'm sitting here in a lecture hall, look at me, ha ha ha" joke. But then he sat down and gave me a big grin of a smile. There was no mocking in that face. When I showed him the picture, he asked if I would email it to him. I said I'd be happy to. I wasn't quite sure why he wanted a copy of this so badly, but he was my friend, and I was happy to oblige him. When we left the university, we decided to walk the 1.5-mile stretch to the Accra Mall instead of catch the overpriced, according to Jay and Richie, taxis. This gave me a nice chance to walk with Jay and get to know him better. We talked of our pasts and of our dreams. I learned that he had grown up with several siblings and in a single-mother household after his dad died when he was 9. Although still in grade school, Jay began polishing shoes on the street to earn some extra income for his family. He did it until he was 16 or 17, and had finally become ashamed of it because it was seen as boys' work. No 16-year-old wants to be seen as a boy. He made it all the way through high school, though, and his face lit up when he told me that he had gotten pretty good grades. There was no doubt about it, he was proud. When I shared with him my dreams to become an entrepreneur and asked him what he'd like to do, he wavered, not sure what to say. So I asked him, "If you had the ability to do anything tomorrow, what would you be doing?" He looked at me and said he'd be right back in that classroom, getting a college degree. With your help, I'm hoping to raise just shy of $3,800. A portion of that goes to funding the t-shirt perk listed below, but all the profit made goes directly towards Jay's tuition. It may not seem like much in US standards, but that kind of money will fund Jay through 3 years of tuition, including housing, at the University of Ghana, as well as give him a small yearly allowance for things like books, school supplies, new clothing, and whatever else he might need. In the last month, I've been in touch with a local professor to figure out the details regarding tuition payments, and he's assured me that I can pay the university directly, meaning that all funds raised go directly towards Jay's education. On a similar note, Professor Aji has looked into Jay's high school records and determined that his grades qualify him for acceptance, and up until now, the only problem has been funding. In a recent email, Jay told me that he'd like to study afforestation. His long-term goal is to someday run an organization which fosters conservation of plants and educates tourists in doing so. But if Jay is ever to get hired, by the government or even a private employer, he needs to complete a 3-year college program and receive his bachelor's degree. Anyone on our ship could tell you about the overflowing vendors and people on the streets of Accra. Through this, I'm trying to get a friend who I respect and trust off those streets for good. I'm using the slogan "Teach a Man" on the t-shirt because I'm a strong believer in the teach a man to fish principle. I believe the best way to change someone's life is to empower them, to give them a chance. To tie this campaign directly to Jay, I wanted something specifically Ghanaian. As most SASers can tell you, wisdom is a frequently cited idea in Ghana, and many locals often show it through a hand gesture towards friends. Although remarkably simple, I believe this design conveys my desire to empower a fellow human being while still maintaining strong Ghanaian roots. The biggest reason I'm doing this is because I trust him. It's largely because of the incidents that I've just described to you, as well as the kind of person that he proved himself to be, that I've taken it upon myself to make sure that he at least gets a chance. After 11 different countries, his is still the face and still the personality that stuck with me. I really hope you think seriously about backing me in this effort. Even the smallest contributions put us one step closer to getting Jay back in school. Whether it's through money or even sharing this with family and friends on Facebook, email, whatever, everything helps. I've put together a couple of really cool perks down below, and I hope you like them. Thank you.